Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I bring to you 2-minute summaries of 30 books. Hi there, I'm Tanya Stanley, a career mom obsessed with self-growth, and in my channel, I bring to you my best hacks to living life to your fullest potential. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Whether you're a busy professional looking to expand your knowledge, or a student trying to ace your exams, or simply a book lover with limited time, I've got you covered. I often get messages on Instagram where people ask me, where can I find all the books? So every single book that I'm discussing in today's video are linked in the description below in case you want to buy it off of Amazon. The video is broken down into chapters where each chapter represents a book. So if you want to skip any of the chapters, feel free to do so. Without any further ado, let's dive into the world of books. I was never an avid reader, but I loved books. I found it really hard to finish a book because of the influence of social media and my short attention span. So here are 3 things that help me overcome those limitations. Number 1, set very tiny goals. Instead of setting a goal of I'm going to read this 1 chapter today, stick to 1 sentence a day. A tiny goal is something that you can achieve even on the days you least feel like doing it. Number 2, just because you started a book, don't try to force yourself to finish the book. Just because someone else is talking about a book and they love it doesn't necessarily mean you need to like it too. If you start a book and you don't like it, quit it, move on, find another book. I hope that through this video you would be able to add at least 1 book to your reading list. Number 3, consuming knowledge in any format is okay. I had this thought in my head that me trying to listen to books is me cheating. It's not. You getting information in any format is fine. For me, more than reading books or trying to read them through ebooks was not okay because it was straining my eyes. Instead, I listen to audiobooks most often. For my sister, more than physical books, she likes reading it on her iPad. Kindle is not available in UAE, otherwise I would definitely have bought Kindle. So no matter what the format is, consuming knowledge, that is what your goal should be. This book completely turned my life around. I used to feel guilty about wanting nice things in life, but the book taught me that this world, the universe, is filled with endless opportunities. All you have to do is imagine it in your head and then turn it into a reality. Right from building skyscrapers to rockets to going to the moon, all of this was once imagined in someone's head and now it's become a reality. In the same way, the book offers you practical ways where you can manifest things. I had made an entire video about the law of attraction, manifestation, vision boards, which you could check it out. I'll mention it in the description as well. It's a really good book if you are struggling with limiting beliefs and thinking that you don't deserve something or that you're not worth it. This is such a great read. Even if you are already married, you found your soulmate, or you're looking to date and try to figure out how this is done. You see, according to Logan Ury, falling in love is a natural organic process, but dating wasn't. Dating came about only in the 1800s, and back in the days, it was okay for you to get married to someone from the same community because you grew up in the same place, you have similar values, etc. But now that's not the case. Even if me and someone else, our ancestors belong to the same place so many years back, we are no longer defined by our communities. So trying to understand who you are as a person at the core matters because it gives you practical tips on what are the questions you need to ask yourself about your potential date. What are the questions you could ask your date? How to break up, whether you should break up in the first place, how to write your prenup, how to approach online dating, what are the filters you should be putting in when you're trying to date online. So great read, highly recommend. I wish I had come across this book earlier. So we live in an era of information overload, which leads to information exhaustion. It is practically impossible for you to remember all the information that you consume and then remember them when a situation arises. So the book offers you practical ways to store all the information you consume in a very strategic manner so that you are no longer wasting 80% of your time searching for the information that you came across 3 years back. I use Notion to store all of the information, every single thing, such as conversations I come across in the office, a post I come across on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, podcast, radio, everything is saved in my Notion app, because of which inspiration for YouTube video is everywhere. This book made me realize how important personal finance is. So it's about a child who is born to a poor dad, a dad who is very hardworking, who thinks about working so hard and working for so many years, etc. And his best friend is someone who is born to a rich dad. So he gets advices from poor dad and the rich dad, and he realizes what makes someone someone rich. The book basically taught me what assets and liabilities are. I never understood the concept of retiring early. I just didn't understand how that was possible. And he tells you that it is possible provided you use your money to build assets so that at one point in time, your assets will give you money that would help you deal with your expenses. Really great book. It talks about the why personal finance is important. I Will Teach You to Be Rich is talking about personal finance as well. But the difference is that the Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about why it's important, and Ramit Sethi's I Will Teach You to Be Rich talks about how to manage your personal finance in simple steps. He talks about, okay, go to this bank, open an account here. Go to this bank, open another account here. So he gives you practical steps of call this person, talk this way, write down this, create an Excel sheet. These are the columns, these are the rows, and so on. It took me a lot of months to actually finish the book because every time I read something and I came across an information, I made sure to implement them. Really amazing book. I also created a video on this called Personal Finance Lessons that I've learned. I will put them in the link below in the description as well. Make sure to listen to it so that you could get started with your personal finance. This book was actually quite interesting. So I love social media, and the book is about Instagram, how Instagram was founded and all the conversations that happened around it. It talks about the founders of Facebook, Snapchat, the discussions they had, etc. And what I realized is how insecure the founders are and how not a big deal they are. They're just normal people like us. Did you know that Instagram was the first app that gave you a feed of things that you were interested in? Until then, Facebook, in the feed that you had on Facebook, you were given information, posts and pictures about your families and friends. But on Instagram, you could see things that were specific to your needs, such as you being a coffee lover or vegan recipes or Korean minimal makeup looks. You could find them all through hashtags and then start following those people. Also, Instagram was the app that gave rise to the influencers. You could now become somebody without the need of movies or ads or medias or interviews and so on. Very interesting read. If you are interested in social media, I would definitely give it a thumbs up. Where do I begin with this book? If you are someone who's trying to build your own product, business, personal brand, write a story, a YouTube video script, this book is going to make that easy for you. Even before I read the first chapter of this book, I realized that my website was really shitty. I went back and I completely revamped my website and I eradicated all the clutter and the noise and the pictures and all of that stuff which is not required. I turned it to something minimal and that gets people understand what exactly I am offering them. Before I read the book, I was a coach on Instagram and I was trying to build authority on Instagram by placing myself, positioning myself as the hero of the story, and that is wrong. I realized that I am just a coach, I'm just a guru, and my customer, my follower, they are the hero of the story. I'm just going to be somebody who's going to equip them with what they need so that they can attain self-growth or their highest potential themselves. Once I changed the messaging based on the 7-step process mentioned in the book, I was able to increase my open rate of emails from 20% to 80%. That's how good he is. So email marketing, website, script writing, books, videos, every single thing, you're going to ace it if you read the book, Building a Story Brand. Amazing book. Amazing book. By the way, have you been liking the video so far? Then make sure to hit the like button, and if you want to cement a relationship further, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you will get notified every time I release a new video. Now let's get back to the video. If you are somebody who's been procrastinating and wanting to do big things in life, but then you've not been able to do that, maybe you need to check your screen time. If your screen time is 4 hours, that's too much. 1 hour a day is enough to build a side hustle or to start a YouTube channel that you'd always been wanting to start. We live in an information era. There are basically a handful of powerful rich men in Silicon Valley who are spending billions on research to manipulate us so that we spend more time on our phones so that they can make money off of us. And what's happening as a downside is that more and more people are more and more people are getting into depression. Suicide rates are climbing up. They're being isolated and cut off from the rest of the world. Social media is not bringing us together. It's actually making more and more of us alone. Once I read the book, I understood how to use social media to my advantage instead of falling for the pitfalls of the social media giants. I started to schedule events, at least one event every single month where I go and meet people face to face. I also stopped carrying books with me when I'm going to the park. Why would I do that? I instead go to the park and I enjoy watching my daughter play or or the sky, and so on. I also turned off all the notifications. The book basically gives you a practical way to digitally detox yourself so that you can understand what are the apps that would actually make sense to you, that's actually benefiting you, and then get them back into your life in the most intentional way possible. This is such a cute book. It was published in 1926 and it's a collection of parables that are around 4,000 years old, set in Babylon. So Babylon is where even the ancient concept of banking came about. There were really wealthy people in Babylon. So in the book, it's basically about this rich man, the richest man in Babylon named Arkad, who is explaining to the Babylonian citizens what are the 7 cures to a lean purse, meaning what are the 7 ways you could become rich and wealthy. And the beautiful part about this book is that they are explaining concepts that are now being explained in very difficult fancy terms in such lame and simple stories that you will never forget. I'll give you an example. One of the scribes is asking him, what is willpower, Arkad? So Arkad is saying, willpower is not about making a donkey who cannot carry 100 tons carry it. Willpower is if you promise yourself that you're going to throw a pebble across the road every time you cross it, you do it. Because if you cannot do the simple things that you promised yourself, how can you do the big things? I know, right? So cool. Love the book. Read it. The Art of Making the Most of Every Moment, the Japanese way, and it's showing you the tea ceremony thing. So the book basically talks about why Japanese people live very long and healthy lives and how we could do the same in our lives too. Ichigo Ichie basically means that every encounter happens only once in a lifetime. It's a unique moment that needs to be treasured because it is not repeatable. Something as simple as you finding your soulmate. You're probably married to your lover right now, and think about how did you come across this person? It's because of this split-second decision that made you go for that party that you did not want to go in the first place, and then you found your soulmate over there. So it's things like that. It's about treasuring every moment that happens in your life. Talking about Japanese culture, this is another one of my favorite books. It's Zen, the Art of Simple Living. It's 100 daily practices by a Zen monk named Shunmyo. Anyway, this book is something that I started reading because I wanted to have daily intentions for the day. When I wake up in the morning, instead of me thinking about all the problems and all the to-do things that I need to acquire, I wanted something that would keep me grounded so that I could start my day beautifully. One of the best concepts I came across in this book is about how to deal with anxiety. I deal with a lot of anxiety attacks. So it says that Huki is asking Bodhi Dharma, my mind is always filled with anxiety. Can you please help me quieten it? So Bodhi Dharma is replying, saying that I will calm these anxieties for you. But first, will you bring them to me? If you can set them before me and say that these are the anxieties that burden them, I will be sure to calm them for you. And he is basically telling that anxieties are something that is... So what he's saying is that anxieties are things that you make up in your head. Those are not real things. So you could get over them. And it's simple concepts like this. Every single chapter is just 1 or 2 pages long, but then it makes you think about things in a very different concept. Just like the Zen book, I also read in the morning 365 Tao, which is daily meditations for 365 days. And this is about Taoism. Every chapter is just 1 page long and it is more poetic. One of my favorite pages is for day 78. Trust the gods within. Accept given boons. Illusion is reality's border. So it's about trusting the gods within. Because of social media, what people say, your husband says, the wife says, the kid says, you are influenced by all the people around you, which is making you not listen to what the person, the Tanya at the core, wants to tell you. Meditation would help you eradicate all this noise around you so that you can get to the inner gods. Because guess what? The God in me knows what is best for me, right? Because Tanya knows what's best for Tanya. Tanya is not selfish. Tanya is not jealous. Tanya only wants the best for Tanya. And for me to reach that person in me, I need to meditate. I need to eradicate the noise around me. And these are the kind of concepts that you come across in Taoism. It's really beautiful. Both these books, every single day in the morning, barely takes me 5 minutes to read, but then I read them in the morning and then I let those information distill and then I write down in my journal as as well what those prompts prompted me to think about. It's a very beautiful way to start your day in the morning. This is a book that is written by Ed Husain, who is a British author and also a political advisor for government leaders across the world. I haven't finished reading it, I'm still reading it, and I cannot put this book down because I live in a Muslim country, because of which, even though I have doubts and questions about the religion, I wouldn't ask it for fear of coming across as insensitive or offending anybody. So I don't ask questions. But then I'm peppered with words like Sharia, Sunni, Shia Muslim. Why do the Muslim women wear abaya? Why is alcohol prohibited by the religion? Concepts like this, right? The answers to those questions are what is mentioned in the book. Now when I read the book, if I come across something that he says that does not align with my principles, I would just listen and ignore it. But I would listen to the facts, because I need to know why certain people are behaving this way, why the others are behaving this way, what is this whole commotion that's happening in the world about all of these different terrorist attacks and things like that. So that's what the book is about. Idea to Execution is a productivity book that is just 2.5 hours long if you're listening to it on Audible. No fluff, very practical guides that would show you how you can save your energy and be more efficient. I could give you an example of task batching. I've come across batching a lot on social media, but I never understood the intensity of the simple technique. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have to write 1,000 thank you notes. 90% of the people will first write one thank you note, put it into an envelope, and then stamp it. But 10% of the people will first write 1,000 thank you notes, then put them all into envelopes, and then they would stamp them all. The first method is more psychologically rewarding, but the second method is more efficient. Do you know why? Because every time you switch between a task, there is a downtime. Your brain takes some time to recalibrate and then starting the new task. So you are actually wasting more time when you're switching between tasks. And that's why task batching is so important. Because I read this book, instead of filming a reel every single day, I decided to film 70 videos in one day on a Saturday, and then I would be ready with content for every single day for the next 2 months. So very good book when it comes to productivity and saving your energy and being more efficient. Especially handy if you're a mom. The Art of Doing Less is from the same author who wrote Idea to Execution. I run multiple online businesses. There are so many tools and techniques that are freely available online which would help you fast track or expedite your work time. I never realized how much those tools will be able to make my life easier till I read the book. I read the book and I made so many changes to my business. For example, when I had to send videos to my editor who's sitting in Nepal, I used to download it, WeTransfer it, send it to him, then he would have to send it, all of those things. It's a cumbersome thing to do. What I did instead is I would shoot the videos in my phone. I had Google Drive downloaded, Google Drive app downloaded on my phone, and directly from my phone I will upload it into Google Drive, which is also there in my phone. Once I do that, I have used Zapier that would notify my editor sitting in Nepal that all of these videos, there are 70 videos that's been uploaded, you can start working on it. He gets notified, and then what he would do is every time he finishes editing these videos, he would update it in my thing. He would put it into a new folder called the edited videos, and he would also put in his comments about the updates, and I will get notified again that this has been completed. He will also be posting it to the different social media apps every single day for the next 2 months. So what did I do? All I had to do is shoot the videos and then upload it into the Google Drive. Every single thing else after that was automatically done because of the tools and the techniques that he explained in this book. So good. If you're running online businesses, please read the book. You're going to thank me later. This book is written by Larry King, who is an American TV and radio host. He's conducted around 50,000 interviews and he's gotten multiple awards, even the Emmy. There were other awards mentioned on Wikipedia, but I don't know what those awards mean. I've heard of Emmy Award. I have not exactly watched any of his interviews, but I bought this book because I wanted to learn how to interview people in the future when I start my own podcast. I wanted to ask compelling questions. I wanted to make sure that I make them feel comfortable and things like that. So that's why I bought the book. And the book gives you very simple guides on how to speak to anybody, anywhere. Yeah, just like what the topic says. Something as simple as be honest. Don't try to be someone you're not, because people can see through it. Don't try to hide your weaknesses or any disabilities that you have, because if that's the first thing that people notice, then why try to hide it? So just put it out there and get it over with. So like that, he talks about very good ways in which you can do public speaking, conduct interviews, create YouTube videos, and so so on. David Goggins is an American ultra-marathon runner, ultra-distance cyclist, triathlete, public speaker, author. He's a retired United States Navy SEAL member who served in the Iraq War. This is his first memoir, Can't Hurt Me. It was released in 2019. This book made me realize that our body is capable of superhuman things beyond what you can even fathom. So he talks about willpower, how to defy your mind and do things that your body thinks you won't be able to do that. Through his examples, how when you feel like you're at the verge of quitting, that's when you do the next one again. Do not quit. Just keep pushing little by little and you will be surprised at what your body can do. So that's what this book is about. Willpower and how to keep going. How can I talk about books without talking about my favorite book that changed my life? I was able to reduce my weight, improve my HDL, and also beat pre-diabetic and become normal. I did my test last year, a full body checkup, and I realized that I was pre-diabetes and also my HDL was low. And then I followed the diet in here. I did not do workout this time. Okay, the last 1 year I didn't work out. Instead, I would just do 30-minute walks, but I made sure that I put my 100% focus on the food that I was consuming. So the book gives you really yummy recipes that include whole meals, vegetables, protein, Middle Eastern, Indian cuisine, Chinese, all of those. Really good book. I've recommended it at least 100 times in my channel already. If you haven't bought it already, then I don't know. This is Unconditional Parenting. It's a book written by Alfie Kohn. Now, I tried reading parenting books and I just don't like reading parenting books so much, but I think one of the biggest takeaways from this book is about making sure that you affirm to your kids that you love them no matter what they do. You know, Tia always used to ask me, Mama, do you love me? Do you love me? Like if she does something like, if I tell her not to eat ice cream and she still chooses to eat ice cream, she would come and ask me, Mama, do you still love me? Do you love me? The old me would have said, no, I don't love you because you ate ice cream. But then the book says that you should never say that. You should let your child know that no matter what decision she takes in life, you've got to empower your kids to make choices in life and make sure that they know that you're going to love them no matter what they do. So now when she asks me, Mama, do you still love me? I tell her, Tia, I always love you, but I'm disappointed that you ate this ice cream even when I asked you not to eat ice cream because ice cream is unhealthy and you're allergic and you're going to get so and so whatever. So that's what this book taught me to do. It's important that you read parenting books, but not take it to heart and think that every single thing mentioned in the book is the Bible and you can't make changes to it. Read it and incorporate things that make sense to you. Some of the things that our parents have done are probably not accepted in the current modern world, but they actually do make sense what our parents did, and you might sometimes have to dig deeper and find out why that worked the way our parents raised us. This is written by one of my all-time favorite authors, Dr. Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson is a clinical psychologist, and in this book he's discussing the 12 rules that will help you never fall into depression. And I had been dealing with a lot of issues at that point in time, which really got me traumatized. And this is the first book that I read. One of the biggest changes that happened in my life after I read the book is that I got back into my own religion. So Jordan Peterson talks about why religion is important as one of the 12 most important rules, because religion teaches you how to be good and bad. The oldest subject taught on this planet is our religious books, right? Even before mathematics or physics or economics came about, the first thing that our ancestors or the wisest leaders of the tribe taught the rest of the tribe and the villagers is about religion. It's about good and bad. That's all what religion is about. So I got back into religion, and there are so many other good important factors that are also discussed in the book, which really gets you back on track so that you don't fall into the trap of depression and being nihilistic. This is the autobiography of Benazir Bhutto, who is a Pakistani politician. She served as the 13th and the 11th Prime Minister of Pakistan. She was here in Dubai, by the way. She was in Mirdif. Did you know that? She got assassinated in 2017. The book is her autobiography that talks about her childhood, her going back to Pakistan, her life here, and all the events that unfolded in her life. A very interesting read because it's just like watching an interesting movie, and you also get to understand the willpower behind strong women. She's a Harvard and an Oxford graduate, so very intelligent woman. Really love it. I read it 10 years back, but I still love this book. This book is one of my favorites. I've heard of Steve Jobs, obviously, just like the rest of us, because of famous speech that he gave for students who were graduating called Connecting the Dots. But I bought the book because I had received an interview at Apple and I wanted to get into Apple. I love Apple and I wanted to get into that, and that's why I bought the book and I read it. From how the iPhones came up, how the iPods, iPhone, Mac, how he founded the company Next, Pixar, Apple, him getting kicked off the chairman board. So many different factors, and his thought process at every single time of these phases in his life is explained in this book. This book inspired me to think differently and to forget what anybody else thinks. One of the biggest quotes that he says in the book is that if you were to listen to what the customer had to say, then we would all still be riding horses. I had this limiting belief in my head that there are so many obstacles in the way for me to get a leadership role. Only men are in the leadership positions. They're not going to take a woman. If I get into a leadership role, then there's going to be way too much work for me to do. I have to be exceptionally good at SAP in order to become a leader. A couple of things like that. So Rebecca says that the biggest obstacle for you to get into a leadership role is not the glass ceiling, but it's the sticky floors. Meaning it's not the fact that there are no opportunities. It's the fact that you are stopping yourself because of your limiting beliefs, because of the insecurities, this false insecurities you have that is not helping you go for the leadership roles that you're so capable of going for. So she gives you practical steps with exercises, workbooks, etc. on identifying what kind of a leader you are. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What is your storyline when it comes to you applying for a leadership role, so that they will give it to you because of, whatever you've done in the company. The Defining Decade is one of those books that if you are in your 20s, you must read. Even if you're in your 30s, you should read, because there are so many people in their 30s who haven't done what they're supposed to be doing in their 20s. So it's going to show you that it's still not too late. You can achieve all the goals that you're supposed to do in your 30s. I created an entire video about it called 12 of my biggest life regrets revealed. Back in the days, there were a lot of expectations from 20-year-olds, right? You're supposed to have 3 kids in your 20s. You're supposed to have gotten married by the age of 21. You're supposed to have a job. You're supposed to have it all figured out, learn how to do cooking, etc. But then all of these expectations have taken a step back. 20s are now considered as an extension of your adolescence. There's not a lot of expectations from the 20-somethings now, because of which they drift through this decade. These 20s are the time for you to, it's like a summer vacation. You go for your summer camp and you explore different activities in the summer camp, right? That is what your 20s are all about. So that when you hit your 30s, you get crystal clear on what you're looking for. Because if you're not sure about what the end goal, what the destination looks like, you will not be able to put the work that you're supposed to put to get to that destination. That's what this book is about. This book basically talks about the balance between money and happiness. Will money give you happiness? When will money stop giving you happiness? So some of the concepts that I came across that was interesting is, one, the fact that after earning $100,000, any additional money that you earn is not going to improve the level of happiness that you feel. Money will solve money problems. That's it. So if you have enough money to pay the bills off and the tax collectors out of your house, you are living a happy life. I came across this book when I was watching one of the videos by Ali Abdaal. This book basically talks about this concept of slip boxes, which was something that was implemented in life by German sociologist Niklas Luhmann. Niklas Luhmann was able to publish 70 books and 400 scholarly articles from topics ranging from law, economy, politics, art, religion, ecology, mass media, and even love before he died at the age of 70. After he died also, books were being published because of how strategically he was able to manage the information in cards using slip boxes. Building Your Second Brain also uses concepts from how to take smart notes and then talks about how to do that in the digital world. I read this book because I wanted to be mentally strong. I just got sick and tired of being weak and whiny and crying and living my life in fear. So that's why I read the book. Some of the interesting concepts that I came across is, number one, that mentally strong people do not envy other people's successes. It is particularly easy to resent other people's accomplishments if you do not know what you want in life. Mentally strong people would instead consider them as collaborators, especially when you are in the YouTube business, right? If I try to envy somebody else with 100,000 subscribers, That is me thinking in short term. I would never be able to achieve the amount of success that I dream of achieving if I think everybody else is my competition. They're not. Instead, they're all my collaborators. If I get to collaborate with these other content creators, then we are all baking the pie together. We are all going to get benefits out of it together. So nobody is my competition. Everyone's my collaborator, and the world is a beautiful space. The power of now. It was lying around in my house, and when I picked this book up, I did not expect the book to actually be good because the cover page is so bland and not that interesting and all of that. But this book was so good. Because of the book, I realized that all the anxiety that I face in life is because I'm not thinking about now. It's because I'm either reliving my past or I am getting anxious about my future, which has not happened and which probably will not even happen the way I'm trying to turn it out into. He got me started into meditation. He got me started into spending more time outdoors and spending more time taking in the essence of the situation that you're currently in. For example, right now, when I'm creating this video, I have no other thoughts, right? How can you not have any thoughts about your past or your future? You can do that if you're creating something brand new, if you're learning something new, which is why you need to try to invest into learning new things, invest into creating new things, because it takes your mind off of stress, anxiety, and fear, and would help you live life more fruitful and purposeful. I implemented the 5 a.m. club rules in my life, which is what I speak about my morning routine, the updated version. The first 20 minutes will be for exercise. The next 20 minutes after you wake up at 5 a.m. would be for reflection. And the last 20 minutes will be for learning something new. So he gives you concepts about how to be more productive in life, how to implement, think like the people, the leaders, the visionaries, the successful people who all wake up at 5 a.m. and what are the things that they do, how to fix your routines. That's what the book is all about. With that, we have come to the end of this video. If there are any books that has inspired you to change your life in positive ways, please do mention it in the comments below so that I could add it to my reading list, and so can all the other viewers watching this video. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If it was, please do give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye!